Hi, welcome to the Gentle Art Podcast with Dunn. Today we have the pleasure of sitting with Alberto Marchetti, Renzo Gracie, third-degree black belt, co-owner of Manto Sportswear,
Manto clothing.
Manto Clothing, and Half Sumo Clothing.
That's correct, yes.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Gene. Thank you for having me. It was interesting because it was kind of like a fast, I went white to blue like in 9 months.
Wow.
Blue to purple within 2.5 years.
Wow.
So I was within 2.5 years of training jiu-jitsu, I was a purple belt. But then I was 3 years at purple, 3.5 years at brown. And I got my black belt after 9 years or something like that, which is still, they should have hold me like for 2 more years, I think, before I was ready. But
no, you're ready. I have some thoughts on that. But one of the things I think that changed is when I first started, it was in the social consciousness from Brazil that it took 10 years to get a black belt.
Right, correct.
So I think in everybody's mind, they thought that. And then that's what manifested. But then BJ Penn got his black belt in like 6 or 7, I think. And then that started to change the perception of what could be done.
Right.
And then I think the time frames between belts started to shift. For me, I was a white belt for 2 years because there was only class 3 days a week.
I agree. Yes, correct.
There was no way to get more classes. Yes. And then blue to purple, I think I was 4 years or 3 years, and then purple to brown, I was like 5 years.
Right.
And in those days, that was where it was. The big place where everybody held was blue to purple.
Yes.
And then purple to brown.
Right.
Those were the big stretches.
Right.
And then when I remember thinking or asking, and brown to black was 1 year typically, and it was about self-defense.
Ah, okay.
So they wanted you to learn some self-defense, the self-defense curriculum or something like that, and then you got put into black.
I was competing a lot. All those years, the purple belt years, the brown belt years. I fought worlds like 6 or 7 times. Since World came to the US, I did every worlds every year. I think this is why they were also expecting me to perform better at competition.
Yeah.
I had won some local competition. I did New York Open and won my weight. Next year, do New York Open, won the open weight.
Yeah.
And then I'll go to Worlds though, and I will kind of like hit a roadblock. Sometimes I'll win my first match, sometimes I'll win my second, but sometimes I wouldn't go past that. So I think one of also the reasons, among others, was that they were really giving me the chance to improve myself. Yeah. And I really needed it. Those 3.5 years at brown belt, they could have been also 4 and 5, helped me a lot to really try to master, because this is a deeper conversation, but we started a little bit earlier talking about it, like beyond strength and beyond technique that anybody can learn right now, right? You could go on YouTube and learn technique. And
certainly,
how many people know a lot of techniques? But then it's the application of it that's challenging. And sometimes I always say the most important thing in jiu-jitsu is what we call craft. These little things sometimes, like the little connecting parts between one movement and the other movement. Everybody knows 4 fingers in the collar, but how you open the collar, how you turn the wrist, those little details, those are the ones sometimes that make and break you, even in competition. Everybody knows so many guards, but then how you really turn the hips, how you hold your knee shield to withstand the pressure of the top guy, those little nuances and variations, that's the craft that makes you hold or the guy passes.
Yeah.
And I needed those 3.5 years to build more on that, because I had progressed fairly fast and I knew a lot of techniques. I love to read about jiu-jitsu. I love to study about jiu-jitsu. So in my mind, I knew it, but I didn't know the details, and I couldn't really express it.
Renzo told me very early on, probably 96, I had asked him about the difference between Japanese jiu-jitsu and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And he totally just said what you said. He said, the difference is in the transition. They had, and he was so forward thinking, they have everything we have, but the transition is different.
Right.
The magic is in the craft, bro. It's in your development. It's in your feel. It's in your, I think of it like you're present. If you're present with your body and your partner, then you're feeling and figuring and molding all the way through. And for me, that's like, I love that you say that because it's kind of like the most beautiful part of jiu-jitsu.
You had a beautiful quote that you told me one time when I was like a white belt back in the day. You came to the main academy. There was some kind of event. I don't know if Carlinhos was there, Roger was there that day, and all the black belts taught a move.
Yeah.
And I remember you had shaved hair.
Yeah.
I think you were obviously a young black belt somewhat, but you also had your black belt in judo. And you told this story. It was like, like the difference between jiu-jitsu when you started and jiu-jitsu when I was there practicing it. He said, before jiu-jitsu was more like a jungle.
Yeah.
Now it's a farm.
Yeah.
I think through the years, I benefited from coming to an academy. They had real mats. It was always clean. There was a proper schedule. There were instructors that had a lot of experience and were good teachers. So there was a methodology on how to train that helped us progress faster. Yes. I always like that quote. You said, before it was a jungle, now it's a farm. And I use it a lot.
Well, Renzo certainly grew a lot of very good. That farm produced a lot of very good people.
You need that consistency, though, right? That 6 o'clock, class starts, the mats are clean, the place is warm. You go, if the teacher doesn't show up, there's no light, it's cold, the mats are dirty, and that inconsistency,
I'll tell you,
slows down the progress.
There were times at the first academy. Well, the first place we trained was Chow's Kung Fu. And that's where I first met Matt Serra, Nick Serra, and John Danaher.
Were they colored belts at that time, or they were
Matt
white
and
belts?
Nick just got blue belt, and John, he's my senior. I consider him my teacher, but I actually started before John,
mm-hmm.
and he and I were coming up through there, and Kukuk who was the first American black belt.
Correct.
He would lay down mats, and then we moved to a place on 27th Street. And that was in a building. And there were many times where we'd show up to class and no one was there. The doors were locked. We'd be practicing in the stairwell.
What was that? The Fight House? What was it called?
No. It was the Renzo Kukuk Academy.
Okay.
I remember the grand opening. Renzo came like the week before his Takarov fight.
Oh, wow.
And I remember talking to him and I was like, are you nervous? And he was like, man, no, like I trained for it and like this is my thing. Like, and I had such admiration for him. I still do, but like, and then to watch what turned out to be such an amazing thing. And then I remember seeing him when he came back, bro, and he was like, it was like he was glowing, dude. Like in those days, there was not the martial arts was way different.
Yeah,
the class of people that came in, it was all like it was different. And so to have him come after like a no rules event with a guy that was no joke, like was really, really fantastic. But that was the first week that the academy opened. That was the grand opening.
Funny anecdote, because you mentioned Oleg Takarov. I just want to put it out there. It's funny how small the world is. So in the past few years, I've had a chance to travel to like Russia and this kind of places because of my wife being born in that area of the world. And one of our family friends is an ex-USSR military commander.
Yes.
And he's a master in Sambo.
Yes.
And guess who his Sambo teacher was? Is Oleg Takarov. So it's funny. He's like, oh, you do jiu-jitsu? I do Sambo. I was like, Sambo. Yeah, cool. I know, yeah. He's like, oh, you might know him. My teacher is this famous guy, fought UFC in America. His name is, what's his name? Oleg Takarov. I was like, yeah. You might know my teacher then, because my teacher's Renzo Gracie. And I saw his smile, like, because Renzo
beats him, knocks him out.
Knocks him out. But we're good friends, but it's funny.
It's interesting about Takarov, I think it's interesting, is that like, I think he was like considered just like a brute. But then something happened when he started acting. I don't know if you saw
I
like
saw
his
some of it. Yeah, little parts in
yeah,
the movies. Yes.
and I think that like that shifted the consciousness about the guy. Like he goes down in history as like not just a pioneer, but he's not a brute.
He's not actually.
He's an intelligent guy.
Right. He's
Yeah.
a proper like master sambo master. So and they take that very seriously. They almost kind of like get a diploma, like if you're going to college and there, because a lot of times it's practiced at the universities there.
Yeah.
So you have to go for like a physical curriculum, like a physical education curriculum, in order to get also that certificate as a sambo master. So yeah, I'm sure he's a great technician. But I guess
Fedor comes out of that camp and is like vicious, man. Just amazing.
He's from Novosibirsk. Yes, in Siberia. Very cool.
Yeah, I know someone that grew up in Siberia. It's a very interesting place.
Yeah, the characters though, yeah.
So, like, I want to ask you a couple of jiu-jitsu questions. So, like, is the craft the most important part of jiu-jitsu for you? What's like the thing about jiu-jitsu that has you do it for more 20 plus years, correct?
Yes. I mean, there's different things that pull me to go train every day. I love a lot also the camaraderie, the friendships
the
that you build. Yes.
Sisterhood.
I always said that was one of the most important things. I always tell my students too, like you could have a good day or a bad day, but see it like a chance to like come out after work and be with brothers,
Yes.
Sometimes the best things that come from jiu-jitsu is not just the discipline and the physical fitness, but it's the friendships that you build through the way. Through the years, we became friends. I'm here today, 20 years after, talking to, like this is very enriching. So for me, that's probably philosophically one of the most important things. But when it comes to technique, strength, everything is important. You need to build a wide base, kind of like a pyramid. So there's a lot of elements, a lot of little bricks that you have to put down. At my age, which I'm close to 50, I like the idea of craft. It's not about strength. It's not about just flexibility. It's not about technique, but it's trying to understand those little intangible things that really make the technique superior, that make you a better player. I really see it kind of like I want to become that master sculptor, right? You could go to a college and learn how to sculpt, like to become an artist, and you're into art. So you can take a lot of courses, and they teach you how to hold the scalpel and the hammer, and you get good at it. You got good technique. But then you see Michelangelo sculpt, and that's just another level. Yeah, maybe the technique is the same. He holds it the same as you, but the way he has that experience, that craft, he sees the marble and he knows how to tackle it, to build, to sculpt, to reveal. Like he
That's one of my favorite quotes. Yeah. He saw David in the stone before he ever chiseled him away.
That's the craft.
Yeah.
So I'm chasing that. I'm chasing how to learn the craft. I know the technique and I'll learn more technique. I have a little bit of strength and can always lift and get stronger.
Yeah.
I can do yoga and become flexible, but I want to learn the craft.
Yeah.
I want to know how to beat somebody just by those little angles, those positioning, how to play the game. If he's fast, I should beat him slow, and that's the craft. So I think right now it's my pursuit is the craft.
The craftsman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is that the message that you would send to a white belt?
Long term, yes. But I think at white belt, the message I always say is like, have fun, be safe.
Be safe.
Be safe.
It's the big problem we face. Injury is the big problem.
You were always talking about it a lot, right? You always, also another one of your quotes was always, it's not a sprint, it's like a marathon, sort of. You always stress that. Too many people come in, they're like, I'm going to be world champion. They train so hard for like a month, too, and then they disappear. Not realizing that a day after day training for years.
And your body has to get there.
The body has to get there.
If you smash your body,
right,
you don't get there.
You don't get there.
And you don't realize it.
Health is so important.
Oh my gosh, so important.
So important. I still train well. And I think again, like I said, I'm 48. So I think part of training well is because throughout the years, I really took care of my body.
There you
I
go.
was the kind of guy that if I was in a really tight guillotine, I will fight it to the extent of my technique.
Yep.
The moment I felt that I didn't know how to get there, it wasn't about ego. I
Yep.
will tap.
Yep.
But my neck now is fine.
Yep.
I can still train. And so on. Same thing from heel hooks. I had occasionally injuries,
Yeah.
but I never had such massive injuries that disrupted my training for a long time.
Yeah.
You know?
Big plus. I love that you said like disrupt the training. Like people will go through injuries, but they realize that it's like an 8-month hiatus. It's a big gap between training.
Right.
And that's detrimental to progress too.
There is.
You know?
And jiu-jitsu is not linear, right? There's always this kind of plateaus. So you'll train for like 6 months and reach a little bit of a plateau, and a little injury
Oh my gosh.
drops you down. And to recover there, it's hard. So
it's
like
hard.
you just have to climb and stay and climb and stay and climb. Yeah. So health, very important. The second thing is having fun, because I think if people enjoy the training, enjoy the jiu-jitsu, like I said, the camaraderie, but also the type of training, they'll stick to it. And that will unlock the learning curve.
Yep. Beautiful. We both have the same teacher, you know, Renzo, Gracie.
Yes.
And, you know, I've been trying each black belt that I have on the show. I ask, like, what's the major thing that you learned from our teacher? What's like the biggest thing that you learned that you took away?
Man, it's hard to tell you just one because
right?
Renzo is so charming, right? Throughout the years, there's so much.
What's the thing that like sticks with you?
Two things stuck with me. One is similar to what you said, that's like a marathon, not a sprint. That I remember after a few weeks training, I went to him, I said, Renzo, so what do am I good at this sport? And is this something I should pursue or should I give up? And he's like, stop with that nonsense. You suck, but everybody sucks. He told me. He's like, really, I suck? But he's like, yeah, but everybody sucks, you know? He's like, you just have to train. You just have to train. You have to keep coming and training, you know? And I hardly ever heard that. I used to play basketball. You know, I played like in the sort of D-League back in Italy when I was younger. And then I played Division III here. And it was unfortunately about bigger, faster, stronger. You're not tall enough. You don't jump enough. You know, like you're not good enough. And there was not so much of a idea of like, well, you suck today, but in 2 years you'll be a better player. It was like, you have to be good now. And I go back and I talk to other friends that were in the same environment, and they all had the same experience. You know, maybe they had it. Yeah.
That I feel like I don't classify jiu-jitsu as a sport because of my paradigm. I always say it's a martial art, but in that place, I feel that that's validated. Like you don't have to be bigger, faster, stronger to be great at jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
You have to, like, to go back to this non-linear thing and the craft. Those are the places where the magic happens.
Right.
That's the real, like, you don't really get that in sport. You know, they're like, there's a career, there's a time frame, and then it ends. You go to work at some other job.
Right.
But
how many great champions, let's say even like Mikey Musumeci, right? He's not the tallest guy. He's definitely not the strongest. In any other sports, he'll be caught. But the guy has such heart, has such
he's a savant.
Right. He has such focus for training.
Yes.
And jiu-jitsu told them, look, don't worry, just train, you know, and train. Look at him now. He's an amazing grappler, you know, and so on.
Yeah.
So maybe that's one of the most important. The second thing
just
I would
keep training.
To
boil it down, like just keep, everybody sucks, just keep training.
The other thing that I really like about Renzo that I think was unique was just his demeanor. He was just such a warm personality that he embraced everybody. So everybody could come and train and get better. And I think that's very important.
Yeah.
When you're a teacher or this kind of stuff.
Yeah. You know, I think
it's
about
inspiring, you know.
I think about it a lot. It is inspiring. And, you know, when I think about asking the black belt questions, I go back in my mind and I think, what is, you know, because I did learn so many things. And I remember at the old 30th or the 28th Street location, the methadone clinic. Did you go there?
I started right after when you guys moved to the first blue basement. Yes.
So the methadone clinic like was a very interesting place. But one day he was training, or like he had these fight shorts on that he wore in Pride. And I said, man, I love those shorts. And he gave them to me. And like, it was a metaphor that he like literally took the shirt off his back and he gave them to me. And I think about that all the time because I learned something really very important on how to live. Like it was like he taught me not jujitsu, he taught me how to live. And up until that point, and I experienced this with a lot of martial arts people, like their art, their body and their mentality communicate their perspective on their art. So a lot of judo people that I've trained with are very contracted and very like cagey. And I believe that like there's something in their movement pattern and there's something in the way that they approach their training that taught them to be like that as people. And, you know, kickboxers, I've kickboxed, you know, all my life, done karate. And like there's certain ways in which they move. And that has, in my opinion, trained their brain to think about life that way. It's like tricky or trying to like, Jiu-Jitsu does it a little bit, but like Renzo like totally obliterated all of that. Like, and what he taught me was to kind of be generous, be forward. And when I grasped that, my whole life changed. Yeah. I started being giving. I started thinking about how I could give more in every aspect. And then I was like, my life was jiu-jitsu.
I love it. Amazing. Like, it's really psychosomatic, right? Where you think manifests, but also vice versa. The way you train manifests.
The way you move manifests. They inform each other.
Look, this is very interesting. And I think jiu-jitsu will not be where it is today, so popular, without really like the Brazilian in front of it. Because if it had remained just jiu-jitsu, like Japanese jiu-jitsu, just the Japanese sort of like traditional mentality would have kept this sport similar to, or the art, the way it was 200 years ago, both in training methodology and in just the way you approach master, sensei to uke, to student. But once jiu-jitsu got washed to the river in Rio de Janeiro and came back as Brazilian jiu-jitsu, it brought a little bit of that fun carioca Brazilian mentality. And that was probably the key for the explosion of jiu-jitsu.
See,
and Renzo is the biggest probably proponent
and this is what I want to contribute to this part of the conversation, is that I remember a lot of those Brazilians. I trained with them, I learned under them, and they weren't exactly like that. No, it was for me, and it's a limited perspective because I never went to another academy. Renzo Gracie Academy.
There's no one like Renzo, yes, that I agree.
And because of my background in traditional martial arts, I was, I come from that. I come from like, this is your home, and this is your teacher, and I brought that to the conversation. But so I've never trained in another academy around the world, right? And for me and my limited perspective, admittedly, it was him. It was his generosity.
How generous is he?
Yeah, because I remember Kukuk. Horion would not give Kukuk his black belt because he was not a family member. And Kukuk went back to Brazil, met Renzo, and got his black belt. And then they came, but Horion wanted to keep it very much like that. And then it was Kukuk and Renzo. And that's when it opened up in the U.S.
It's interesting because it's strange that Horion will do that. because that was kind of like a little bit the downfall, a little bit of judo back in the day, where like it was really almost for the Japanese.
Yes.
And it took Maeda to travel to the New World in the US, then Cuba, then Brazil, to finally be able to teach the real secrets and mechanics of judo, jiu-jitsu to somebody that was non-Japanese. So it's strange for somebody non-Japanese that actually learned from a Japanese that broke the rules to instead go back 2-3 steps and try to control the art instead of sharing it with somebody that's outside the family.
I just want to say, I have nothing bad to say about Rorion.
He's fine.
I don't think you do either, but I'm the one who said the name. Like,
But I always say it's not talking shit if it's true. So if the story that you shared is true, that's the story.
He is the pioneer in this country.
Right.
And that's the reason why we call it Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Did you know that?
Please expand. I want to learn.
There wasn't Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
It was Gracie Jiu-Jitsu,
and
maybe?
he wanted to copyright the name. So he had lawsuits against the family members.
Right.
And they came out and said, okay, it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And boom, now it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But at the center of all of that is Renzo Gracie. Is Renzo Gracie.
I agree with you. Yes.
And so it like I agree with your points as well, like, but just specifically from my lens, it was his generosity.
But you're right.
He did it. He did it, man. And
I spoke about it on other podcasts in the past, when sometimes they ask me what's Renzo's best quality, strength, this kind of stuff. I would say is his generosity. And probably if he hears this, he'll be like shy because he doesn't talk about it. But the amount of stories through the years, like your story about him taking off his Valetudo shorts, I gave them to you. But the amount of times that people he overheard that somebody's, my mother, she having a hard time. He's like, okay. Or somebody that like had nobody, came to New York, or like he'll be the one going to always bail them out and helping them. Yeah, his generosity is unparalleled.
My plan, it's not a secret anymore because I'm going to tell you my plan. What my plan is to have as many black belts as I can on the show.
Amazing.
And then clip that question and make a video and give it to him. That's going to be my gift to my teacher, our teacher. I want to segue to Manto. And,
sure.
And, I was thinking about, like, I know your last name, but you're Alberto Manto.
Yes.
And I was wondering on the way over, like, I'm Gene Dunn. I'm not Gene. I'm not Mr. Dunn. I've always been Gene Dunn.
Meet your sensei.
Oh, thank you. But people, when they say my name, they say the whole name.
Yes.
They say Gene Dunn. That's just it. And I was wondering to myself, in a way, it feels like my own branding. In a way.
Yes.
And I was wondering, like, if you've thought about, like, Alberto Manto as your, like, brand. Is it, has it become your brand, or do you have some sort of thought about, like,
I thought about it a little bit as a form of branding for myself back in the day too. It really started because, like you said, I was one of the guys that co-founded Manto, the brand Manto, and with Kuba and Michal. And as my email was manto@gmail or Alberto Manto, so that when somebody looked Alberto on the email, they knew that it wasn't Alberto and something else. It was Alberto, the guy from Manto, so they could easily reply to me. So it started a little bit like that. But then obviously my last name is Marchetti starts with the M. So a lot of times I put Alberto M and people think it's Alberto Manto. And I was like, okay, perfect. It fits, it's fine, And then social media starts to become, growing, and everybody has to get a handle on social media. So that became my jiu-jitsu handle, and it fits, it's fine, it's good, I love it. Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I thought about it, sort of like a nom de plume, like they would say. Like,
yeah.
Thank you for listening to the Gentle Art Podcast. Please share, rate, and review. And if you have any questions or you'd like to reach out, please contact us at the GentleArtPodcast@gmail.com, or contact us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or thegentleartpodcast.com.